Welcome to Elevate eCommerce, the podcast where we elevate your e-commerce game. Join our host, Hi Mag, CEO of Eva, as he shares the latest strategies in Amazon, omnichannel, and advertising. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting, Hi's insights and expert interviews will help you thrive in the e-commerce world. Tune in for practical tips and transformative success stories to elevate your business to new heights.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Elevate e-commerce podcast, and I have a great guest, a good friend who is Max. He's the co-founder and also the CEO of the BidX as well, because I sometimes confuse whether it's you or Nadine who is the CEO, but you are doing an amazing job with BidX, advertising automation. And a lot of customers are using their platform. They are very happy. I'm always getting good feedback from customers that are using BidX. And originally they started in Germany, but I think they also, right now support pretty much every Amazon marketplace, primarily US and Europe, obviously. Welcome, Max, to the call. So tell us more about yourself.
Hey, nice to have me on the podcast. Thank you for having me. So my name is Max Hofmann. I'm one of the co-founders. We are like 3 co-founders over here at BidX. And back in 2015, I started selling on Amazon myself. So I was still in college and I tried to find a way to finance a semester abroad. And I ended up going to China, actually, mainly to get a visa, to then also visit suppliers over there. And we realized that Amazon FBA at that time was like much less competition, much less Chinese sellers. It was much easier to put products on the marketplace, even though they were like simple white labeled version. Nowadays, it's so much harder. It's so much more competitive, and you really have to have your USP to stand out. But back then, it was easy. You just sourced some products in China. You started running ads, and you soon become like the best seller. And that is when we realized to launch new products as well, like to keep bestsellers on top, you were dependent on ads. And at that time, it was done all manually. And it was like really painful. We spent like so many hours every single week to optimize these campaigns, to create new campaigns, to adjust bids, to move keywords, to add negative keywords, and so on. And I also met my co-founder, Nadine, who I should marry later on. And she studied computer science. And she said, man, maybe I can help you in automating all the stuff that you're doing manually. So we teamed up and started the first version of BidX, something in 2017 when Amazon released the first APIs that also allowed software providers to write bid changes, budget changes, and so on. And everything that we did manually before, we then automated for ourselves. And then we asked like friends and colleagues around how they solved the problem with advertising, optimization, and so on. And they said they didn't. It's like a pain in the ass. And they did it all manually, and maybe some bulk files also. And then we started, you want to try that? And they liked it, and it solved their problem too. And then we realized, okay, maybe we can start a second company. And so we did. And nowadays we are like 50 team members. Most of them are over here in Europe, where our headquarters is. But we also started 2 years ago in the States and have a bunch of colleagues now working on the East Coast, so you have enough time overlap with the European team, and growing strong in the US as well.
Amazing. By the way, I didn't know that your kind of marriage has something to do with the Amazon business.
Yeah.
I thought it happened before. Seems like it happened in parallel. That is amazing. Like this, you're one of the couples in this Amazon industry that work together and create some amazing software. So
it does have its pros and cons. So you spend a lot of time together at the workplace and at home. It's like 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine the pros. I hope you will never hit the cons.
It is everything is more extreme. Like if it's going well, like you enjoy everything together, it's going well. If something goes down, then like everybody is depressed and so on, and right. Everything is like even worse. But luckily, over the past years, the ups have been like more than the majority of the time.
Yeah, like I mean, there is no kind of a secular view, like business, private, separate. It's kind of all together in your life. I
It
can
is.
imagine
It
that
is.
there is pros and cons. So, I mean, so you kind of like breath the whole advertising every day. And right now, it's almost like you're talking about 7 years of developing the software, using the API. So maybe my first foundational question is, what is your advertising strategy when you meet with a first customer? What is it that you are telling them to do with advertising?
So first, you can't have like one strategy that is like applying to all of the advertisers. You have to understand what are their goals. Like, is it a big brand or is it like a smaller seller who's just getting started? But in any ways, like we start with a campaign structure, like which match type should be used, which ad type should be used. Are assets available to run sponsored brands, sponsored brand video ads? Is there any brand existent kind of? Is that needed? Or are just like sponsored products enough? What budget does the advertiser have? And then we start developing a strategy that fits perfectly to an advertiser needs as well as like the goals that they do have. And then, of course, it depends on the products that they'd like to advertise and in which funnel stage they are currently are. So if they are planning on introducing new products, of course, then you can't run campaigns directly ROAS focused, because at the beginning, you probably will spend a little bit more budget to see what works, what does not, to raise a little bit more awareness. And then only after the launch phase and also like after the honeymoon period is over, kind of, you look like, how can I get this profitable and which keywords we're like burning just too much money, especially like the keywords with a lot of search volume. They are great for ranking and pushing your organic rankings as well. But mostly they are like very competitive and expensive. So you are willing to pay these premiums, but later on you are not anymore because like you are much rather focused on profitability. And then in addition, if you have this structure, you can go and split it a little bit more. So split your campaigns and ad groups to different focuses. So have branded campaigns, have competitor targeting campaigns, have just like generic campaigns, have like maybe an ad group with just 3 to 5 main keywords that you also track manually. Because like you can't track thousands of keywords, but you may track a bunch of them manually if they are like important for you. And then you can also optimize the bidding strategies and all the advanced features and settings that Amazon is offering.
Well, it's a wonderful way of just summarizing the whole strategy. And I think the key point here is to do it manually makes very little sense right now in the Amazon world. So using a tech like BidX hopefully automates a lot of the things, I assume.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that's great to hear too. Well, I mean, as you are developing the software every day, what I'm also seeing is like every week, every second week, every month, there is a new thing coming into this advertising space, as Amazon has more than probably 1,000 developers just dedicated to developing the Amazon APIs and advertising. What innovative advertising techniques that you have seen in the last few months that is working really well?
So first of all, we have to admit that in our system, 80% of the ad spend that we do manage are sponsored products. So it is really an excellence that you need to have in the basics. And only if you have that, then you can start with the different other ad types. And what we realized already quite early on, so meanwhile, we are doing Amazon DSP over 5 years. And Amazon DSP allows advertisers to run ads on as well as off Amazon and remarket customers who visit the product detail page or who added the product to the cart but did not check out. So this is a great way to maximize ROAS on the bottom of the sales funnel, but also to reach new customers that are currently active in that category and did not yet really define the product they want to purchase, but they already do have an intent. If they move to a new house, to a new area, or if they just bought a new car, or like if they get parents whatsoever. So these are like great signals that you can't really target with just the sponsored ads, where Amazon DSP and like a full funnel strategy is really coming in handy. And this is, in our opinion, like still the biggest advantage. Advertisers who make use of the full funnel strategy and also then make use of the Amazon Marketing Cloud to really understand what impact do my ad dollars have on my organic ranking, on my total sales, to better understand and to smarter invest the budget that they do have.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, we have 9,000 brands connected to Eva platform, and statistically, we also see 82% sponsored products spent. And also very interesting that you mentioned DSP, although it's not that new and it's there for many years, a lot of customers, a lot of brands, they are making millions of dollars and they don't utilize DSP. AMC is even another animal, right? I mean, a lot of people have no idea. Maybe only 2% really knows how to even write some SQL queries. We expect that Amazon will make this much, a lot easier to access, and also maybe not paid, right? I mean, why to pay again and again? Like it's already there's payments, right?
Yeah, you realize that over the recent month that Amazon also is like struggling to generate profits. And so, of course, they are trying to squeeze every single dollar out of the sellers who really got dependent on the whole ecosystem and try to charge more for inbound shipments, for storage, for deals, for everything nowadays. And so, of course, like also they not only take a lot of advertising dollars now from advertisers, but also they try to charge for analytics and so on.
Absolutely, yeah. They want to charge on everything, as you said. That's what we see, especially in the last 8 months. And we see that their quarterly reports, like Amazon profitability, increased a lot, but also that there is an impact to the growth as well. Well, back to the profitability, like you mentioned, as you mentioned, the profit-driven strategies are important. There's also the organic side. When you start engaging with the customers, I believe that there are a lot of strategies, there are a lot of things that are not advertising, but they are impacting advertising. So from your point of view, what affects advertising that is not advertising itself?
Well, so on Amazon, especially with the sponsored products, we just have the organic listing that turns into an ad. So if you didn't do your homework with the basics on your listing, then you are probably wasting a lot of money. So it is really important to just start advertising only with listings and products that are also advertising ready, that do have enough reviews, that do have like enough star ratings, that do have like rich images, good videos, and so on. Because like these are nowadays with AI so simple tasks that could be accomplished by anybody. But if not done properly, you just waste a lot of money. And also, in our opinion, it is split tested way too less. So there are like services as Pigfoo, for instance, where you can easily split test 2, 3 images, see like if the competitor ones are doing better, understand why our competitor images are doing better, what is like different from them, use AI to tell the difference between the different images. And then there are easy ways to stand out of the crowd, to get the views, to get the clicks. And so in our opinion, people start advertising quite early because they want to get somewhere. But oftentimes, especially as you start to scale, you need to go back to the basics and have the kind of perfect listing and split tested images and videos that will save you probably the most money, the most advertising budget. And when we talk about like, I don't reach my target ROAS, then don't look at the advertising campaigns that you're running at the moment, but start with the listing, because like you only can tweak at the end a little bit, but the much bigger leverage is like with the original listing that you do have. And in our opinion, then, if you have a certain threshold of KPIs that you can track within the listing, also like if you have thousands of ASINs and SKUs, especially if you're selling fashion, then you can define like what criteria do you have, what criteria can be defined so that the product's advertising ready, and only then start with advertising and scaling ads.
Makes a lot of sense. Like one of the things as an agency, we look at the brand metrics, the category and the subcategory CVR and the CTR. if the customer's CVR and CTR, if that customer's products CVR and CTR are like below the average even, it means, look, first fix your listing, right? I mean, it's not converting, like maybe it's not getting enough clicks. So main image, the other 6 images, the video, the title, the listing, the A+ content, all of them plays a critical role before you start seeing the right ACOS, I guess. So very good. Thanks for sharing that. By the way, before I forget, Max will also share with us an e-commerce hack, but that will be at the end of the podcast. So please continue to watch us. So, I mean, you are doing this for many years now. I'm sure that with BidX, with your team, you've seen some very successful cases too. So I'll be very happy if you can share a case study or a success story that you have seen that e-commerce, the growth with Amazon.
Yeah, I can think, for instance, about one case study that we ran with a company who was founded in 1895. So it's a quite old company. It's called Falke. It's like a German company, but they also acquired a British company called Burlington. They do make socks. At least like European listeners probably are aware of them, like really traditional British socks kind of. And for them, it was really challenging to get that brand awareness on Amazon, and they are available in over 60 countries. So they do have reached quite a reach, like in retail stores around the globe, but they are like really challenging in copying the success from the retail also onto Amazon. And in the beginning, it was really that they were not able to scale their awareness. And Amazon DSP in that case came in very handy to have like a very precise persona that they like an ICP, ideal customer profile, that they wanted to target, that could be defined and then could be leveraged to market their products and raise awareness around the different markets. And so they were really, as a traditional company, they survived because they were always profitable. And so also the challenge here was like, how can we reach as many people as possible that are like new to brand by still maintaining the ROAS that like the leader over there tried to have. And we supported Falke over a couple of months in defining the setup and targeting the right audiences, and also like continuously optimize the DSP campaigns to ensure that they're reaching the goals. And what ended up is that they generated over $500,000 in additional sales that are generated from new to brand customers within the first 6 months, which for them was like a really nice amount, because it was like new customers that now were also aware of this traditional company by maintaining like the ROAS that they set internally as a target. And what they said is that we help them a lot to precisely target the audience on Amazon, which is quite everybody in the Western world, but finding like the audience to generate incremental sales in a profitable way.
Well, I love it, really. And I know the brand very well, also the UK brand, as I spent many years in the UK. And a great story. I think one of the interesting part is like, a lot of times we tell as the agency, hey, understand the product, like the features, like the style, the experience and everything. But with DSP, as you said, you're able to do like a full funnel strategy and understand the customer rather than just focusing on the product, because the product is the sucks, but depending on, it's a traditional and a company that everybody knows, but what is the exact ideal customer profile, understanding it is only available with DSP. So congratulations and thank you for sharing this case. Now I would like to ask a question, which is my favorite topic as well, because I'm a computer engineer and I love AI and always dealing with artificial intelligence. And you are also the co-founder of a of a software company. So I'm sure that AI is always in your mind, as now that's the only topic that I see in Silicon Valley that is discussed. So what role does AI play in optimizing advertising strategies for e-commerce? How are you using AI in advertising? But maybe there are some other areas of e-commerce that if you want to share that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, it really took over in our daily tasks that we handle and in our customer management that we take care of. And so how we use it especially is, for instance, as soon as we start working with bigger amounts of campaigns with bigger catalogs of products, to scale the campaign management, to recommend campaign structure for the different products, to group the products based on the chosen strategy, which was done kind of semi-automated before, but where I now really can understand these products belong together. These have like the same meaning, the same customer profile kind of that they are targeting. So the AI is grouping products together and then it's suggesting like the campaign structure that should work best. And also where it comes in super, super handy is just in the analytics part of all the data. Nowadays, we do get so many different endpoints from Amazon where you sometimes ask yourself, in the past, you were always like asking for more data points. But nowadays, advertisers feel overwhelmed because like they have access to so many different data points. And oftentimes they can't really get aware of all the different data points that are available nowadays. So what we oftentimes do nowadays for our customers is to download all the reports from the API, to go to the advertising console to download those that are not available through APIs, bundle them together. We ran different queries and search term performance reports where we trained models to make sense of all the different data endpoints and then to come up with search terms that are like extremely promising, with search terms that are currently not targeted, but like competitor are ranking well on. And whenever you work with bigger amounts of data, then it really makes the difference nowadays, because everybody became like a junior data scientist, I'd say. We formerly needed to study a couple of semesters to do that. Nowadays, everybody does have access.
That's a very good point. That I like what you said about the data, because AI can easily tell you maybe not easily, but if you're able to, give the right models and everything and train it in the right way, can tell you the next best action, what the customer should do with all these data points, right? So that's a great point that you mentioned. Also the bid optimization, even campaign creation. I mean, these are the areas that we kind of call the mundane tasks, like can be done easily with automation and AI. So thanks for that. As Max, you also started this journey as by launching your own brand, and then kind of transition into being like creating a software out of it. But also, I think that, I mean, the most important thing at the end of the day is to be profitable for Amazon sellers, maybe not in the launch phase or maybe not when aggressively growing, but at the end of the day, it's all about the profits too. So what is the profit-driven strategy, or how do you handle this within the automation or maybe beyond the automation to have the profit focus?
Yeah, so the obvious, what we started with is like the analytics of the performance KPIs. So what we do get is impressions, clicks, orders, sales, and the cost that you spent. So based on these base KPIs, you can calculate everything else. And the idea over here is like to estimate as quickly as possible if something will generate a sale or if it does not. And actually, you can do that with only a few hundred impressions, and then already have a look at the click-through rate. And that already indicates, based on the performance data of the account, if that keyword and search term does have a likelihood to convert or not. Because like most of the time we see a huge amount of ad spend in an account that is kind of wasted because it only received like 1, 2, let's say like 4 or 5 clicks. But if a click costs like $1 or multiple dollars nowadays, these add up to thousands of dollars every single month, which is kind of wasted. So this is like the first thing that the system is looking at, where it can already make bit adjustments and also like add new keywords that are promising from search term reports, as well as like setting keywords as negative if they are not. But it became more and more important to look at all the organic factors of the listing to make sure that you receive the optimum return on the ad spend. And what we incorporated in our analytics and algorithms is that we also look at stock levels. So is the product running out of stock? Then we might reduce bits and budgets or pause ads because the product will run out of stock anyways. And if you spend like 20%, 30% of your overall revenue on ads, then you might cut that for a couple of weeks because you know you will run out of stock and then only turn back ads on when you are back in stock. The next is to focus on bestseller rank. So bestseller rank tells you relatively how you're performing at the moment. If you are selling a seasonal product and suddenly your bestseller rank is going up, but you're just selling a cooler and it's getting warmer and everybody's going up, then it tells you like you did not really move compared to the competition. So also look at the bestseller rank to see if you're actually trending upwards or if you're trending downwards. And in addition to that, we have the possibility to schedule ads based on the different hours of a week to see like when are you converting best. For instance, if you're selling office supply, it's Monday morning when everybody is getting back to office and has like the list to order. If you are selling products that maybe are much rather consumed when it's on weekend or when it's colder, then you can optimize for these seasons as well. And there are like so many different tiny factors that you can automate nowadays that will increase like 1% here, 2% there, which then add up the bottom line. And if your bottom line is like single digit, it can get easily to double digit and then have like a really big impact, even though the percentages that you are saving and optimizing in the upper part are like very tiny.
Absolutely, yeah. So there is this Japanese principle called Kaizen, and I kind of feel the software development, especially advertising optimization, is something similar. Like if every single thing that you do, feature, automation, can improve the profit by even 1% or 0.1%, then I mean, at the end, at the end of the year, you're going to be doing a great job, right? Like even by improving it 1% every day. And I really like that inventory-aware advertising and the bestseller rank strategies. We very much see that like it's super important not to waste money if the inventory is low. So these are great, feedbacks to share. And my next question, Max, is we talked a lot about Amazon. And we also mentioned that Amazon is becoming the platform where the profits are kind of melting down, but it's also not easy to escape from Amazon, as it's 52% of the US sales, and Amazon has all the traffic. So hard to escape, but still, most of the customers that we have or we meet here and there, they always ask about omnichannel. That's why we support now Walmart, Etsy, Faire, Wayfair, eBay, and all the other omnichannel strategies. What is your view with the omnichannel, like, especially as your primary customers are Amazon sellers too? What's your advice to them in terms of omnichannel?
Yeah, it's getting more and more important, as you mentioned, like Walmart is growing tremendously quickly. And also in our opinion, Walmart is like the only really big player that does have the infrastructure in place, that does have like over 4,000 physical stores where it like mastered and perfectionized supply chain over the last decades, kind of. And so omnichannel is becoming more and more important. And what we see is that you need to have one source of truth, kind of, where you can store all of your data from the different channels. And also with that, Amazon Marketing Cloud is coming in handy since it is running on AWS and it's called Amazon Marketing Cloud. But you actually can integrate first-party data. And what we did in the past is we connected to customers' ERPs that are receiving the orders from all the different channels and then making use of the Amazon Marketing Cloud to also, again, understand what channel does have which importance and where should budgets be allocated, and to track like how customers are shopping across different channels by matching shipping addresses and so on. And so it is possible to combine all the different data points from the different channels into one system, and then to have like really strong analytics that is becoming more and more resource intensive, but which is also telling you so many things where you can optimize your business. So we realize that even for ourselves as a software company, as you get better in understanding the data that you receive, the better you can act on it, and the better you can optimize that feedback loop and put in new strategies to optimize your whole business.
Absolutely right. I mean, by the way, it's a very smart to mention that you can integrate different multiple non-Amazon, data sources into Amazon Marketing Cloud, and then probably run queries and understand like what is that multimedia mix and how the traffic, is kind of diverted from one system to another. So it's very smart like to do that. So thanks for sharing that too. So, well, that are all my questions, and thank you very much again for joining our podcast. As we said in the beginning, like I'll be very happy if you can share your e-commerce hack with us too.
Yeah, sure. So what we realized is that optimizing the details on campaigns really, really makes a difference. And as you know, there are like keyword targeting campaigns as well as like product targeting campaigns where you can target ASINs and categories.
Right.
What most people don't know is even though if you target an ASIN, for instance, a competitor ASIN, your ads will not only show up on their product detail page of that ASIN, but they will also appear on the search result pages. And actually you don't want to have that. So what we recommend there is, because like also that is again wasted ad spend, because you want to directly target that competitor and don't appear on the search result pages, is to make use of the placement modifier. And using that, if you run a bid that is currently like at $2, reduce that by 75% to 50 cents, and then set the placement modifier to 300%. This will result in a 50-cent bid for search result page, which is like very unattractive for general Amazon result pages, but it will keep the $2 for the product detail pages. And the second bonus tip that we actually just announced this week is a service, an AI tool actually. It is called Layer One, as Princess Leia in Star Wars. And this is a service, a tool that's free, that helps you to find the best keywords for your listing and completely structures based on your strategy the whole campaign setup of match types, of ad types. And layer1.com, you can use it free of charge. It is super powerful, and it again will save hours for every single keyword research. You can use for it to create your listing, to optimize your listing, and then easily translate that to advertising campaigns and run very profitable advertising campaigns to increase your overall revenue and profitability.
Well, I like the first one a lot. I'm going to definitely check with my team what they do with that. Probably if they don't do it, hopefully we will save some money. And for the second one, that's interesting. I'm going to check that too. Are you associated with this company, or is?
Yeah, we developed it. So it's
Okay,
from
cool.
internal customer data. We trained AI models. We worked a lot with ChatGPT. And nowadays you can use just ChatGPT, but you need to train it a lot. And like we have so many account managers that we're doing like recommending keyword researchers how to do it, how to use ChatGPT, how to use the different other tools, how to make use of search term result, query search, query performance reports, and so on. It is all incorporated in one single solution that connects the different dots and is just presenting the results.
Hey, that's great. Like, I'm definitely going to check this, and I'm pretty sure that there is a lot of great information there. So does it mean that the customers don't need to use another third-party tool to find keywords or anything?
So I'd say at the moment it's like public beta. You will probably find better tools for this or that niche service, or to get more information about certain KPIs. But in general, we compared like what are the results of the manual keyword research that you did use and that you did make in using different tools that are available on the market, and what are the results that you're getting over here. And you saw that like 80-90% is already done in like a few seconds. Then it takes like a minute to load, and then you just save like 2 hours in 2 minutes.
Right. I'm gonna check this, but maybe let's repeat it again. So is it leia1.com, you said?
Correct.
Yeah.
leia1.com.
Okay, so that's great to hear that too. And thank you very much, Max. I mean, great hacks, great information about your advertising strategy, the new techniques, as well as the case studies and all that stuff. So I'm sure that our audience will benefit a lot from this. And thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.